Okay. What is up, Raider Nation? Okay. So I wanted to go into a super in-depth, super break down this guy we got, Tommy Mellot, Tommy Mellot, whatever his name is, man. I wanted to give you guys a super in-depth film breakdown of this guy. You're not gonna get any other breakdown like this on YouTube. We're going deep into his film today, guys. Really digging to the bottom of it, getting into the nitty-gritty. Okay, and I just want to start with the stats, right? Just look at the numbers. The numbers can tell us a lot, right? 2,700 yards passing, three touchdowns, two interceptions in his senior season at Montana State. Okay. That's very special, okay? Especially when you look down here. He had two 1,000-yard rushing seasons, 15 touchdowns on the ground. I th- you know, that's impressive, especially when you look at 31 touchdowns to two interceptions. That's a certain level of kind of football IQ and kind of being uh, uh like the one thing you see with these guys coming from these smaller schools is just first off, their competition isn't as good, so these stats can be kind of, I don't want to say inflated, but they won't translate as well into the league. Um, but you look at 31 touchdowns to two interceptions. I mean, he's taking care of the ball. He's protecting the ball, and that's one thing you love to see out of a player, right? I wanted to drop this little nugget, right? So I went to Sam Houston State University, eat 'em up cats, right? We were coming off a 2020 FCS championship, right? Great season, right? Great team. Okay, we go into the 2021 season, pretty good season. We get into the playoffs, right? I don't know too much about Montana State. We play them in the first round. I think it's a cakewalk. Okay, long story short, they brought Montana State had brought some belts to the game, and they proceeded to put on a good old-fashioned ass whooping on the Bearcats. Okay, Tommy Mellot caught a touchdown, ran for a touchdown, and threw a touchdown in the first 16 minutes of the game. I remember me and my buddy had a couple beverages at the game, right? And we were talking a little bit of smack talk to the opposing players, right, on Montana State. And all I can kind of remember from that game, I obviously don't remember much. The beverages might have, uh, um, you know, uh, fogged my memory of that game a little bit. But all I remember was we were talking some good old smack talk to the opposing players. And by the end of the first quarter, it was significantly harder to lay down that smack talk on them because they were putting on a good old-fashioned ass whooping, right? So before I even knew it, I got my first taste of Raider Nation's future Hall of Famer, future Super Bowl winner, hopefully. Um, Very own, Tommy Mellot, whatever his name is. Um, but let's get straight into it, guys. Let's get straight into the film analysis. Let's get straight into the breakdown. We're gonna go super in deep. Find some some footage that you're not gonna find on YouTube, right? Nobody else is really doing it like me as far as film breakdown for these guys. So let me go right into the film and let's just get into it, man. Like I said, super in-depth film breakdown. Let's go. Yes, sir. Hey, turn me up. Here's our guy right here. Against North Dakota, right? Against Cam Miller. Cam Miller's another guy I really like to. Pretty excited about that guy. The passes aren't. That's not really what we're here for. I'm trying to see. Here we go. Here we go. Let's see. Let's see those wheels, buddy. Take off. This guy's got speed. That's the biggest thing, man. And I think that's he's listed as a wide receiver. Um, the biggest thing is just gonna be hands and footwork when translating from wide receiver to quarterback. But he's one of those guys who's just a baller, man. So I think he uses find ways to get the ball in his hand and just let him work, man. Let him ball out wide open. They must be playing the Raiders defense. Back there and coaching stuff you hated to end up having a guy. Surprised the Raiders didn't sign these guys down here, right? Okay, I'm done with that joke. Yeah, and I mean, so let me drop the bit for a second. Obviously, this is just highlights. You're not going to see anything. You're not going to see the big flaws in this game or anything. Um, you really got to watch like a full game to really get an idea of what this guy's going to actually look like in the league or what he would actually look like in a a full game situation, obviously. Um, but obviously the skill level at the FCS level is not anywhere near most what most programs are playing, what most um rookies would play, or college players who are going into the NFL would play. So he will be a project. He'll take some time, and he'll have to adjust to the league. Um, but you think about a guy like Dylan Lobby, who was just getting tore up every time he touched the ball, man. That I feel like is the biggest concern with Tommy Mellot, is just Mellot or whatever his name is just that he isn't really facing the same kind of talent and the same kind of skill level and once he goes to the league. But given some time, I think he could become a different, definite playmaker. And he's got wheels, man. I mean, you can't coach that. Air it out. Yeah. And I mean, yeah, it's obviously highlights and stuff, but he's got a good arm on him. He's got some good accuracy and everything. So, um, I heard John Spytek talking about it the other day, where he was talking about Taysom Hill. Obviously, John Spytek worked for the Buccaneers for a long time, and they always had to face Taysom Hill, and how big of just a headache or kind of a problem he was as far as scheming against him. Because the biggest thing is just he's listed as a wide receiver, obviously, but with this guy, he's kind of just a gadget guy. You can line him up at wide receiver, you can line him up at halfback, you can line him up at quarterback, and you know, you get a full game of him playing at quarterback in the NFL level, he's not going to be that productive. But you get him in little spurts where you can kind of get some trick plays or just get some little gadget plays going. I think this is where that guy is going to excel at. And the biggest thing for me that I'm kind of excited about this guy is the Taysom Hill kind of comparison, where he he's just an athlete, and he doesn't excel particularly at one thing, but it's the threat of every time the ball's in his hand, he can run, he can pass, he can catch. Um, so just having to, as a defense, having to worry about that, having to keep eyes on him, having to be aware of that every play that he's in the game is something that I think will definitely help this Raiders team. And the biggest thing about like last season was just the fact that we obviously had guys like Brock Bowers, we had guys like Jacoby Myers, and even kind of Trey Tucker to an extent with his speed. Special playmakers, talented guys offensively, threats offensively. But outside of those three players, I would say two and a half, because Trey Tucker is mid. We didn't have a lot of, we didn't have a very dynamic offense. The offense line was good. It was okay, right? But without a good talent at running back, without serious talent quarterback wise, um, you know, multiple threats as far as wide receivers go. This offense just kind of looks flat. Yeah. So I mean, all of these are cool, but like it's wide open passes. Okay, air it out. You got Jones in the backfield. Mellot fakes it. Tommy Mellot cuts. Okay, he's pretty shifty too. Okay, little Deshaun Jackson action right here. Drops the ball. Drops the ball. Picks it back up. One cut. Little little hurdle. And stays on his feet, unlike Daniel Jones, right? Had almost had a Daniel Jones moment where he's got Green ahead of him. Stays on his feet. He's got good balance. this is just one of those guys where like I mean he's just an athlete and I'm of the philosophy real quick. This is how you know one telltale sign that the talent level is not the greatest that he's playing against is because this football field he's playing on is also a soccer field. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. What was I saying? I don't even remember what I was saying before that. Um, oh no, but this guy is just, a baller. And I think like, you worry about, oh, well, the talent level isn't there. But I think the biggest thing with sports is just you find playmakers, man. And I think playmakers they're going to make plays in the college level. They're going to make plays at high school level, and if you can make plays at those levels, it might take some time, but you can make plays at the professional level. Um, obviously the talent you're facing is a kind of taken into consideration. Um, but develop this guy, get the ball in his hands, and just let him work. Let him do something like that, bro. But yeah, guys, I'm very excited about this guy. I'm excited about this whole kind of rookie class. I'm excited to see what a guy like this in a Chip Kelly offense will look like. Um, Chip Kelly kind of his big thing is all of his quarterbacks aren't necessarily run first, but they are able to run. You look at guys like Geno Smith. You look at guys like Cam Miller too. Guys who have a decent arm on them, have decent accuracy. Um, but if it kind of breaks down, they're able to run. And, Aiden O'Connell is obviously our quarterback too, if we don't move him. But besides him, all of the quarterbacks we're kind of getting on this roster. I know he's a wide receiver, right? But all the quarterbacks we're putting on this roster have the ability to run. And I think that's going to take this offense to another level. So I'm excited about this guy. That was a super in-depth film breakdown. I know some of that stuff probably went over a lot of you guys' heads. I know that was a lot of super in-depth, high IQ football knowledge that I was throwing at you, and that's fine. If you didn't pick up on all that, that's fine. The big thing you just got to pick up on with this guy, kind of the way I would break down his game is he's just cold as hell, right? So get the ball in his hands, let him work, let him go to town on these guys, man. He went to town on Sam Houston State University, right? Let's let him go to town on a Kansas City Chief, right? Let him go to town on the Los Angeles Chargers. Let him go to town on the Denver Donkeys. But yeah, excited about this guy. Thank you for watching this super, super in-depth breakdown of the film. I got a draft video coming out pretty soon, breaking down all the talent we just now acquired. So stay tuned for that, guys. As always, salutations. Have a good one, Raider Nation. All right, how do I stop this video?